Welcome back to the Chapter Chats and Chill podcast.
Your cozy reading nook where we talk everything about books, tropes, fave characters, and more. This is Elena.
This is Maroua.
And Emma, and we invite you to get comfortable, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and get ready to enter a world where stories come true.
Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our This or That Bookish Challenge. So we came back with other hard questions for you guys, so maybe you can try and help us solve them. Let's start.
Yay.
So, first question. Binge read or slow read?
Slow read. I mean, slow binge reading. Like,
that's interesting.
Like, I am a slow reader, but when I find a book or a series of books that I really love, then I binge read them, but at a slow pace.
Mm.
It
What do you
actually
mean?
makes sense.
Slow pace because do you want to like not anticipate the next read?
Oh no, it's
No,
just
it's
because I
actually
read
you
slowly.
you take your time.
It takes me a little bit of time. Like I remember when I was, I guess, in high school or also like in middle school, that my friends were reading not necessarily the same books, but similar books or sometimes the same. I was always like, they finished the book in, I don't know, 1 week, and I was like halfway through it. So yeah.
Okay. But that's fine. That's okay. I'm also a slow reader and I can binge just like only a book that I really that it's captivating me, but since the beginning, but also it's sometimes it's not even the book. It's just me. It's me the problem. So it really depends. We have to have luck.
Yeah. I understand you girls because I used to be a fast reader, but now I'm more like a turtle reader, let's say. I I read really slowly, so yeah. Slow read for me too.
Slow reading book club here.
Hashtag no shame.
Yeah.
Totally.
Next question. Character driven versus plot driven.
This is such a good question. I don't know. I need time to think about it.
I love this one. Character driven, because Six of Crows is character driven, and since then I realized that I love that kind of books. Yeah, character driven forever and ever.
Mm, Can I use my joker here and choose both?
Yeah.
Like they are both crucial kind
Yeah.
of to make a good story, because if the plot is meh, you get bored easily, and if the characters are not well developed, you can't get emotionally attached to the story. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I
That
choose
totally
both.
makes sense. Mm.
But for me, it's worse when like the character are really
Flat.
like shallow.
Yeah.
And instead, if the plot is meh, but at least you have, nice character, you still can get through the book. For me, I mean, but if the character are really bad, you are like, why am I spending my time here?
That's right. I think I might. You convinced me, Elena. I think maybe character is a little bit more the priority. Because if the character sucks, in my opinion, like if I don't like the character, I won't read the book. I'm thinking of, there was a book that I was reading where, oh yes, another book with a very long title. What was it called? The Crown of Oaths and Curses. So it's a series. Book 2 just came out. It's the one that the second book kind of took a while to get out.
Is it about the
So
racist Faye or
yes,
something?
the racist main character Faye. I hate him so much. But I said, okay, let's see, because in book 2 I was expecting him to be like making amends I really dislike him even more than Tamlin, and that says a lot. And then I started reading book 2, and he's still the same piece of shit. So I won't read book 2. I don't care. So yeah, maybe character driven.
Okay, how about books that make you cry versus books that make you laugh?
Cry all the way.
Right. Yeah.
I want to cry. If I cry, it's a 5-star. Likely?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
that was
Like
an easy one.
crying and sadness is such a powerful emotion, and if a
Mm,
book can communicate that to you, then it has done its job.
yeah.
Like
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
There are times where I enjoyed the book, but I said, okay, I didn't cry during the book. So it can't be like, it's maybe 4 stars, but not 5, definitely. It's essential.
The crying is missing.
Yeah.
hmm. How about morally gray versus cinnamon roll characters? Like more like main characters.
Mm,
Morally gray. I'm
same.
sorry.
They're more interesting.
Like I have 6 of
Ah.
crows here. Like I'm sorry, but that will dictate all my answer.
Mm,
And
Morally
what
gray.
does it mean, cinnamon? Cinnamon.
Like,
Cinnamon?
the good,
cinnamon
nice
bun.
guy.
No, we
Cute.
don't
Yeah.
like nice guys.
I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of do in some cases. But again, it's like laughing or crying. You want to cry, you want to suffer. So morally gray.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life,
Oh
100%
no.
cinnamon guy.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
Same.
like morally gray character
No, no,
in this
no.
universe, but in the books, it's another story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
It's kind of sad to admit, but yeah, they're usually more fun, also more attractive than the nice heroes. They're also far more sassy and
Yeah.
sensual, and they're just the best. They're the
There's
best.
just, I also guess for me, it depends a little bit on the genre of the book. So, for example, if it's a romance book, then I think I will always refuse to read like the mafia romance. That's a no for me. So in that case, because it's more similar to real life, right? So maybe in that case, I would say
It's a
cinnamon,
no for
cinnamon
me.
bun. No, the mafia thing, I cannot understand what is happening there.
Never
No
been there.
shame, no shame, but it's definitely not for me. And so there, like I've read a couple of books. We've also read one together. The you have to
The
help
yours
me with the
truly one?
title. Yes, yours truly.
Mm.
And then there was also that I've read the Love Light Farms volume something, I
Hmm.
guess number 1, but might be another one of the series. And the guy was like so cute, but also kind of sassy. And so you had a good
Yeah,
balance, but definitely if it's set in this universe, the book, real life rule, no morally gray
yeah.
Mm.
for me.
Enemies to lovers versus friends to lovers.
That's an easy one. Enemies
Yeah.
to lover, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Agreed.
Best trope.
Yes. Best trope ever.
Yeah. But again, in real life, actually, of course, I will prefer like someone that is like first my friends, and then we can create something like more together. But in books, enemies to lover, like it's a easy win for me. Like friends to lover, you
Yeah, same. But in real life, I think neither of them. Like,
friends to lover, not even like
no,
best friends. No,
no, no, I can't imagine myself dating
really.
my best friend. No.
Brother's best
Yeah.
friend.
If he's my best friend, I'm not attracted to him. Like,
Okay, because you
But
put
you
it in the
never
friend zone.
know.
But maybe
yeah,
not best friends, but just like, friends that you are like in good vibes with and you are like
maybe
speaking.
friend of a friend is more likely to happen than a friend.
Friends of a friend.
True.
Okay, fair enough.
And girls, do you annotate your books, or aren't you like, is it your vibe or not to annotate books?
Rarely. I very rarely do, but I don't mind. Especially, I don't really annotate the fiction books, but I do annotate like essays. Because for me, it's almost like studying, and when I was studying, I constantly annotated my books, and so that's kind of
Mhm.
my way to escape back to that wonderful time. I loved uni, studying everything. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it's quite the same. I don't annotate my books very often. When I do it, just like the one sentences. Like
Mm.
I don't like even the stickers. I'm not like really into it. I don't like not the spine, the other one, like how it is
Oh,
the
Yeah.
like
aesthetic
the side
of
of the
a,
pages.
a heavily tabbed book. I don't like it.
Oh, it's very
But
cute.
sometimes
I
Yeah, I
mean,
no,
for
find it
me
cute too.
personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I
no, you
like
give
it.
me the ick. What
Mm,
about you, Maro?
I love annotating ebooks. I don't know if that counts. Like, I love highlighting quotes
Oh,
and scenes that made an impression on
yes.
me. And for books, I don't necessarily annotate them with a pen, but I use stickers.
Mhm.
A lot
I
of
remember.
stickers. Not always. It depends on the book, but like for example, for Once Upon a Broken Heart, book 1 and 2, I used a lot of stickers. A lot of stickers. And I'm
Hmm.
planning on using a lot of stickers for book 3 also, so.
I have a question. So when you use stickers, do you also highlight? Because I imagine like you have the sticker, but then how do you find the passage that you were referring to, like in your mind when you
Actually, I
put the
put the
sticker?
sticker directly next to the passage, and it's kind
Oh,
of an arrow
mm,
that points
okay.
directly to the passage, so it's
Makes
easier
sense.
that way. Mhm. Are you more of a slow burn or a spicy romance? Haha.
Slow burn for me. I love the tension and the anticipation.
I guess
It's
for
actually
me, it's
go on,
like
Emma.
I like a slow burn. If I had to choose, maybe slow burn, but also the books that I prefer are kind of in the middle, and so you have the slow burn, but it's not too slow that nothing really happens, never ever. Uh, so probably like for me, I like when the couple, main couple, whatever, kind of gets together kind of in the middle of the book, so you still have space to also see them as a couple. I don't know if if like that makes sense. But yeah, slow burn, but maybe not too slow.
Mhm. I know what you mean because for me, I love slow burn romances with a little touch of spice. Like
Yeah. Mm-mm.
the spice has to be there somehow.
Mm-mm. I agree.
Otherwise, the tension would kill me. So, like, something has
Yeah.
to happen. And how about happily ever afters and open endings? Which one do you prefer?
Mm. Happily ever afters, unless the open ending. Like if it's a standalone, no, no, I just no. I was thinking of Adi LaRue, and I that one was a standalone and it had an open ending, and it was so infuriating for me, kind of. So I guess yeah, happy endings.
I agree with them the ending. I didn't like the ending of
Me
The
neither.
Invisible Life.
No. Mm-mm.
I think I'm the only one who's okay with the ending of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
How? Why?
I don't know. I just love everything about that book. Even though I liked less the last part of it, but I still I didn't mind the ending.
Yeah, but now you see, I didn't mind it either if there was a sequel. Like now I'm too invested. I want to know like about her revenge because I think that her character really is always been very interesting, but I kind of have this curiosity because maybe it's not shown very often of like the villain arc. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but like when a character that starts like being good as a good character, then gets like super mad, wants revenge, wants, I don't know, like, so how she was like with respect to Luke, I guess.
Mm.
She wants revenge, and I want to see like what she does specifically, like how that plays out in their dynamic, because I think that would be like, especially given his like character as well, he's very, very gray. And so that would be too interesting to read. And so that's why I'm pissed. Not necessarily for the way it ended, just because it ended that way and it has no sequel. Yeah. But maybe there's some fan fiction somewhere that I can
I'm
read.
sure there is. Like, I'm pretty sure there is some.
No.
Mm. For me, I also choose happy endings because my heart can't take it anymore. And
Yeah.
considering the cruelty of the world we're currently living in, I think that we deserve some happiness, even if it's
Yes.
just fictional, but we deserve some good vibes. So,
Mm,
happy
absolutely.
endings. Mm.
Yeah. And also, like, as I said, I want to cry in a book, but there's something like that part cannot be missing if it's a very special read for me. But also, there's something, I don't know, that is soothing about the whole story if you know that there is going to be a happy ending. Like, I'm still going to be shocked, I'm still going to cry and pine over whatever happens, but then I want a happy ending.
How about epic fantasy versus urban fantasy?
Mm, can I say neither the two of them? Like, I don't like urban fantasy. Shadowhunter is out urban fantasy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like it. Like, I well,
Yeah,
I have to be
I'm not
fair.
a big
I
fan.
tried. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a big
I've
fan.
tried once, but I never like finished it. So
Mm,
I was like, no, urban fantasy, epic fantasy though. Like it's high fantasy. I'm not really into it.
mm,
For now, maybe in a couple of years I will be. But then I want to try and read Miss Burr. I don't know if it's
I
a
think
high
it's,
fantasy.
yeah, I think it's considered a high fantasy.
Mm, but other than that, nope.
neither.
I'm
Mm.
not really a
Okay.
big fan of the Shadowhunter series either. I read it, all the series, like all the 6 books,
Oh,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
not a big fan of them. Mm.
I mean, there's a small issue
Yeah,
between the main characters, right? As well.
yeah, all the characters, actually, no,
Mm,
especially the main characters, but yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Mm. So I'll say epic fantasies too, because I also really like it when the world is 100% fictional.
mm,
Like it allows me to escape reality more easily, let's say.
Mm.
And urban fantasy is just too close to the real world.
mm.
So,
That's true. Um, I think if I have to choose, but you know what? Maybe I would say urban fantasy, not because it's my favorite, but it's because I want to read something now because I've read so many like epic fantasy or like more um yeah, that type of fantasy that is not set in the current like similar world to what it's like currently. And so maybe that would be interesting, like Crescent City. I'm very curious about. It's more modern world, but it's also
yeah.
like
Yes.
not
Yeah,
real cities. So maybe
I
that's
was
interesting.
thinking about it. But then I read that it's like urban fantasy and it's 800 pages. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
Yeah, the
it's
books
really
are
maybe
long.
so
that's
long.
Really, really long.
Two red
And
flags. Maybe it's not for me.
the
Mm,
actually all the books are like that. They're
mm,
like super long. Mm.
I don't know. Maybe for the summer, like a month per book. You have 3 books.
Yeah,
That's
I
still
would like
very
to do
long,
one
but
of these challenges, actually.
ooh, okay,
Mm.
noted. You have to find a trilogy, either that or another
Mm.
one.
Yeah, we can easily find it.
Mm.
Love at first sight versus enemies at first sight.
Come on.
Enemies forever. Not forever, but
Yes.
like at first sight.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of love at first sight.
No.
I don't know. It's too cheesy for me. I don't know.
The only
True.
exception for me is when in the story there is like there are mates and then it kind of makes sense depending on the world and the like what the characters are.
Are you talking about
You can
Akota?
sense it.
Of course.
No, no, I'm
Because you
actually
still
not.
you didn't mention it yet.
That's weird. Yeah, maybe it's because I haven't had dinner yet, and so my brain is kind of starting to fall apart. No, I wasn't thinking of Akotar, even though that's also a good example. I was thinking of another book that you haven't read, though, and so I mean, for me, it was very clear from the beginning that they were mates, but apparently, maybe not to everyone, and so maybe I won't say the title. It's the standalone.
No, you
Okay.
have to say it now.
Okay, I mean, I can say it if you don't mind.
What is it?
It's Bride by Ellie Hazelwood.
Ah,
I mean, they get
okay.
married, but like but I think you girls, if you read it, you will understand it. Like you would have totally got it anyways. Because like they meet at the wedding. And so
Ah.
he's a werewolf and she's a vampire. And so he, like, when they meet, he goes like, oh, how can you smell like that? And I mean, it's because you're mates.
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Not as a major spoiler. It's just
Don't
first
worry, I will forget it.
chapter. Yeah.
But it makes sense. Bride at wedding. I mean,
A lot of coincidences, but they work out together.
Hmm.
Okay, next question. Magical creatures versus magical objects.
Oh,
Mm,
can we have both?
yeah, that would
I
be
love
the
magical
best.
objects, but I also love pixies and I don't know, fairy.
Mm,
Hmm.
if I have to choose, maybe magical creatures, but also the objects are very cool. But then a magical creature maybe can put magic into an object, I guess.
Hmm.
That's cheating,
Maybe.
Emma.
That's right. If I have to choose creatures.
For me, I would say magical objects because they're usually complex and mysterious,
Mm,
and most of the time, there's a whole interesting story behind them.
mm, true.
True.
Like, usually, there's a whole plot, even. Like, the story
Yeah,
evolves around them. So,
makes
magical
sense.
objects. Hmm. Next question. Villain redemption versus villain downfall.
Villain downfall.
Oh,
I
really?
haven't read any. No, sorry, wait. I mean, yes, I did a TikTok where I said everyone deserves a second chance or a redemption, but I don't care. Like, it's more interesting this way. You can't have everyone be like cool or just become a good person, a good fae,
True.
whatever they are. So you have, in my opinion, you have to have at least a couple of villains that say the way.
Yeah, true, true. I agree.
But if it's a villain redemption, I mean, the villain is bad until like the end of the book. So
Mm,
technically, you have your villain,
mhm.
and
But you
he
have
just
to stick with the character, you know?
Mm,
I have to blame someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I love villains in fantasy, and it usually pains me when they die, although it's usually what they
Mm.
deserve.
Oh,
So,
that's true.
I don't know. I'm
I,
gonna say villain redemption because I want to keep them alive and on the right
mm,
side of the story, just so I can read more about them, maybe, or I don't know.
mm.
I want to give them a second chance. So,
It makes sense. Yeah, that's right.
Makes sense.
continuing with our villain questions. Which one will you choose between villain redemption and villain arc?
I would go with villain arc because I think I haven't read anything really focused on it. Like there were some examples, like of course Farah from the Alcatraz series, like in book 2, how she kind of seeks revenge, kind of. Yeah, totally. Book 2 or 3, I don't remember, but yeah.
But she wasn't
But
entirely a villain still.
no, no,
Mm.
and I would have loved to see her like become a true villain. Like I don't know if true is the like right word, but I don't know. There's something very interesting, in my opinion. Maybe it's just because I haven't read anything like that, and so I'm choosing that, hoping that someone has recommendations. Guys, if you have recommendations, please leave them for us in the comments.
Yeah. I was thinking like the biggest villain, like Voldemort, whatever, they have a villain arc, right? No
Oh
redemption
yeah,
for sure. So
right.
I will stick with re- with villain arc, whatever.
Mm. Mm-mm.
I'll go with villain arc too because I love reading about the background of a protagonist
Mm.
and what made them who they are, like what made them shift to the dark side. And speaking of, I have a recommendation for you. It's called Heartless by Marissa
Ooh.
Mayer. And
Ooh.
it's kind of the arc of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. Like,
Oh,
yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind
I've
of a
heard about it.
retelling. Yeah, and it's really good. I really liked it.
And was so
okay.
popular, right? Back
Yeah,
to
it was
when I used
popular.
to read a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really good. And there's also Vicious of V. Schwab,
I need
which
to
is
read
Mm.
it.
Mm.
I
like
know.
100% villain arc. And I highly recommend it.
Okay,
It's
thank
really, really
you.
good. And our last question is novel or novella?
I think novel, but if it's a series of more than 3 books, then we need a novella. I mean, in that case, the fourth book, in my opinion, would be I would like it more if it was a novella than a fourth book of like 800 pages. Does it make sense? I don't know. But no novel, like regular novel for me, usually.
Okay. What about you, Marwa?
I'm honestly not a big fan of the novella format. I find it quite short and nothing much happens in like the main intrigue. So I'm gonna go with novel.
Mm.
How about you?
I don't know. Mm, I'm torn actually because the novella is, I think, is quite useless. But I don't know if I want a full novel. I don't know. Mm,
Maybe it
nope. I don't
depends.
know. Yeah, it depends, right?
Like some novels are 300 pages and others are 800. So maybe it also depends,
Eh,
I guess, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this is our last question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our time is up.
I mean, we could also throw in just one last question. A romance or fantasy?
Tough one because it depends once again of my mood,
Hmm.
of the weather, of I don't know, the place. Like if I'm on vacation, if I'm at home, if I have a lot of things going on in my life. Depends. It depends. Like my
Oh,
first love is
s-
fantasy, but I also really, really like romance. I'm not gonna lie. So I can't decide.
The impossible question.
I think that for me it will always be fantasy and then
Ooh.
everything else, because this year, especially, also last year actually, I tried to expand more my reading taste and go into different genre. And I been 3 years ago I've been starting to read a lot of romance, whatever, but I will always come back to fantasy, even though this year
Mm.
I've read like very few of them. But everything for me orbits around fantasy, and then there is anything else. That's how my brain works actually.
Okay.
So I would say fantasy.
Same for me, but I'd say maybe since I haven't used, I guess, my jolly yet, that would be it. And my answer would be romantasy. You have both. Have both.
Fantasy.
Fair enough.
And that's a wrap, guys.
That is.
Bye. Thank you for listening. I hope you
See
enjoyed it.
you. See you
See
next
ya.
week with a new episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning into Chapter Chat and Chill.
If you loved this episode, make sure you give it a 5-star rating, thumbs up, and comment below what you want to hear next.
To stay connected in between episodes, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Chapter Chats and Chill.